Welcome back, everybody. This video is going to be choosing your venue and other vendors that you'll need, so photo, video, DJ, florist, so on and so forth. We'll talk about all of that in just a second.
I feel good, doing things I never thought I could. Smiling in the mirror, I look good, like I should. I feel brand spanking new. I don't know about you. I feel good. I'm talking out, been working hard.
First thing we'll be talking about here is your venue. What I'd like you to start out with is figuring out the amount of guests you plan on having for your wedding. Obviously, you want to make sure that your venue can fit them comfortably without squeezing them into a tight area. Also, you're going to want to look for a venue that has the vision or style you're looking for. The hardest part about this is it's obviously you're not going to know about the venues that you don't know about, if that makes sense. So a great way to start with this is looking on the Knot, Wedding Wire. You can even just Google local wedding venues, as well as you can talk to other vendors in this space. Generally, us photographers have a pretty good idea of, like, if you're looking for this style, this is a great venue. We won't know prices, we won't know exact guest counts, but we can get a pretty good idea. A few things to consider as far as the venue goes. If you have a lot of out-of-town guests, maybe picking one near a hotel would be helpful. Another thing to think about logistically is parking. I have seen a few venues, and I'm not going to say their names just because I don't want to discredit them by any means. They're beautiful venues, but their parking situation's really tight. Sometimes I've seen people park on the street, park down the hill. There's a few venues in the area that are a little rough as far as parking goes, so that might be something to consider as well. Now I want to talk about a few questions you might want to ask the wedding venues as you tour them and stuff like that. I'm going to read them off of my monitor, so I will be staring over here, but I just want to give you a general idea. So first of all, what's included in the rental fee? Do I get tables, chairs, linens, anything like that? There's a chance that there's a markup for this, so just knowing the right prices will help you. Next, how many hours are included, and is there a fee for additional time? I mean, that one's pretty self-explanatory. Are there restrictions like noise or preferred vendor lists? Obviously, there's like noise restrictions in a lot of venues. There's some that are like out in the country that don't really have a noise issue, but a lot of them will. But the key part here is the preferred vendor list. Some venues will not let you choose other vendors off of their vendor list. Sometimes it's been bad experiences with other vendors where they've broken something or done something and then they create a list that you can only pick from. And sometimes this is like a marketing thing, so I don't really want to go too far into depth on that. They can have a preferred caterer, preferred DJ, preferred alcohol vendor, and there's a lot of reasonings behind most of those, right? But you will want to know this ahead of time. And then just branching off of that, can we bring in our own alcohol, our own catering, stuff like that? This is always a good question to ask. If for whatever reason you're not allowed to, which I will be honest, majority of venues in the area will not allow this. They'll normally have a preferred one that you have to go to. But they sometimes have a buyout fee, in which case you can pay a certain amount and you can bring in your own caterers or your own alcohol and stuff like that. The alcohol is a little bit questionable. Two real quick tips on this section about venues. I know it can get excessive. You might tour 5, 10, 15 venues, but you really want to try to pick the perfect one, right? This is where the best day of your life is going to be, and you want to make sure that it's in the right space for you. While you're doing this, please take photos, take notes, stuff like that, so that when you go back to your fiance, because he might not be there for every tour, or when you're trying to discuss this with him and just figure out which one you guys liked most, you're going to want to share those notes and share those photos and talk about each individual thing. One more tip is just book early. And you may think that a year out is too early or 2 years out is too early. I promise you it's not. If it is a popular venue, and this goes for all your vendors for the record, if they are popular, they will fill up fast. So please book early, earlier than you even think. Next thing I want to talk about real quick is those vendors. So this is going to be photo, video, DJ, stuff like that. I'm going to start with photo, video because obviously that's what I do. This will be the easiest for me to talk about, and then I'll branch out. I genuinely think you should prioritize essentials. I know this is going to be biased, but photo, video, I classify as an essential in most cases. And I'm saying most because there are a few instances I have had where photo, video just doesn't seem essential to the couple. But majority, like 99% of the time, photo video is going to be how you document and remember the day for the rest of your life. So this is going to be really important to make sure that you pick your favorite ones as soon as possible. Again, the talented ones book fast. This is the same as the venue. If it's popular, it's going to book fast. Same with the photo video team. Next, I want to touch on catering. So you should be doing taste tests with any catering company you go through. And because of that, you normally want to start planning this earlier too. So I don't have this on here, but normally right after catering or along with catering, I would look at alcohol vendors. This is going to come down to your venue. Again, most cases, there's going to be a recommended vendor in these spaces specifically. So it shouldn't be too hard to find the one you're going to go with, but you do need to go check out pricing and stuff like that just to make sure you have an idea of what you're spending on that, because alcohol and food can add up. Next, we're going to talk about DJs for a split second. I just want to point out, we don't offer DJ services yet, but I do genuinely believe that they set the scene for the wedding day. If you're looking for a rave for your party, right, and you choose a DJ that is just going to MC all night, that's not really going to set the scene that you want to set. So you do have to have a good idea of what you're looking for, and then make sure you pick a DJ accordingly. Really narrow down what you're looking for, whether that be an MC, which for the record, if you don't know this, they talk a little bit more, they crack jokes, they kind of work the crowd a little bit more, versus a standard DJ that's just going to play music, you know, whatever you give him on the list, that's what he's going to play. Or lastly, there's like the full artist that's just going to mix every song and absolutely make it a rave or party, right? So just narrowing down what you're looking for is really going to help you there. Flowers. This topic can go a lot of different directions. I will be honest, a lot of the people that we shoot weddings for and stuff like that end up DIYing their flowers, or they end up going through a cheap floral company and then they end up like sprucing them up to make them a little bit better. So I've seen a lot of DIY stuff, but I haven't seen a lot of like choosing florists myself. As a matter of fact, we just hired someone to do our florals because we didn't want to have to deal with this too much. If you need any recommendations, please take a look at our site, and that goes for all vendors. If you take a look at the bottom of our homepage, there is a vendor recommendation area, and you can click on whatever vendor you're looking for, and then there should be a few recommendations for them. Another great way to find vendors if you're looking for them is Wedding Wire, The Knot. Obviously, I keep coming back to this. It is easy. I genuinely think it is a good avenue for finding vendors for your wedding day. Obviously, you can ask friends and family who they used. They will give you good recommendations. After hearing about each vendor that you're going to hire through referrals or finding them on The Knot, please do research on them. Next, we're going to go over a few questions to ask, so I'm going to go ahead and read those off. Are you available on our wedding day? How many weddings have you done? Do you have liability insurance? What is your cancellation and refund policy like? And then obviously asking for either references or a portfolio. So now we're going to talk about contracts and negotiations. First of all, as far as the contracts go, make sure you read them. Ask for any customizations you might want with the package. So one thing that a lot of people don't ask about is a second shooter. This is something you should talk about ahead of time. Like when you're building that package, when you're talking with them about their packages, go ahead and ask them about second shooters or drone usage or whatever it is, because this would be much easier to know about ahead of time. Ask about the deposit, right? This is whatever that non-refundable amount is. You should ask about that. You should ask about how their payment plans work. Okay, so now we've kind of talked about all the vendors and stuff like that. One thing I want to talk about as well is you should build a relationship with those vendors. First of all, you want to communicate your vision. Talking with them about the other vendors that you are looking for. And I know that that sounds crazy, it doesn't really make sense, but if you're on the phone with me and you tell me that you want to have an absolute party for the reception, I will send you directly to a specific DJ that's going to kill it. On the off chance that you don't tell me that, you might book another DJ and not know anything about them, whereas I've worked with these DJs many times and I know a lot more about them. Something I have on here as a note is just trust their expertise. I don't really have a problem with this. Most of the time I have a lot of people that give me too much credit, where I'll be like, do you want a photo of you two doing a dip kiss? And they're like, I don't know, do I? And I'm like, I couldn't tell you. Stay organized as far as vendor contact information. There are instances where I've had people change their email and change their phone number and then not tell me and lose my contact info, and then I'm trying to contact them, they're trying to contact me, but neither one of us have each other's contact information. This has actually happened, and it's scary. I've gone as far as looking these people up on Facebook to message them so that way we can get reconnected. Please keep track of your vendor contact information. Finally, we're gonna talk about the last thing here. It's gonna be just keeping like a seamless vendor experience. The gist is make sure that your vendor team that you have chosen and put together, right, make sure they have some sort of way of communicating. This is just sharing contact information and stuff like that. If you do a call with us, I will ask for this contact information and I send you a form and you fill it out, and that way I have all of it. Now that we've kind of talked about this, you know that the venue and vendors can make or break your wedding day, so please make sure you choose wisely, make sure you vet them. In the next video, we're gonna talk about creating a stress-free wedding timeline and hopefully getting you through all of that without a problem. Okay, thank you for watching. Bye.
That I feel